Hi, I'm Cole Gertis, and this video is about how to patch drywall. How to patch large holes in your drywall and turn this into this. I had an old furnace grate in my wall that was turning into a fantastic place to hide my keys. Kids. But these same steps will work for any drywall repair over a couple of inches. For those of you in a dang old hurry to get started, I'm gonna walk through the steps and then I'll get into the details. First, cut your hole square. Then, if you don't have a wooden beam in the wall behind the hole, you're gonna need to create a wooden brace. From there, cut your drywall sheet to size, screw it into the brace, and apply paper or mesh tape around the edges of the sheet. After that, you are going to spackle or apply joint compound, and then sand and paint. Now, on to the details. Cutting the hole so it has clean edges in a square is important because if it has crumbly edges, the compound's not going to adhere properly. And if it's not cut into a square, you're going to waste a lot of that drywall sheet cutting it into a shape that fits. They have knives specifically made for cutting into drywall called jab knives. I have one linked down below, and they are worth every penny of it to make sure that your finished product looks choice. Now, for smaller 3 to 4 inch holes, a mesh patch will do the trick. But for larger jobs, outside of installing an entire kennel cage into your wall, you're gonna need to buy a sheet of drywall. These come in all different kinds of sizes, from 1/2 inch, 3/4 inch, 5/8 inch thick, to 4x8, 2x8, and 2x2. It's important to measure the thickness of your current wall before buying a sheet so that you don't buy something too thick or too thin. Unless you're replacing many holes or an entire panel of drywall, I really like the 2-foot by 2-foot sheets. And that's because it's really hard to store drywall, and it's a pain if it gets broken because a dog jumps on it or you punch a hole in the uninstalled drywall. Am I right? I mean, toxic masculinity is not just for installed drywall. Next, the drywall needs support behind it. It's possible that you have a wooden beam behind the hole already, but if not, you can screw pieces of wood to your existing drywall so that it has something around the edges, or build a brace out of 2x4s. I built a 2x4 square around the edge of the hole and then one brace in the middle. Next, measure and cut the drywall piece to size, leaving a 1/4 inch around the edges. You're gonna be filling it in with joint compound, so there's no need to make it extra snug. Drywall is cut by scoring it. Run the X-Acto knife along the measurements until there's a line through the drywall. Then move the drywall to an edge or sharp corner and snap it at the line. Then take the X-Acto knife and cut the paper backing. When installing, make sure the drywall sheet is flush with the existing wall. If not, put shims or wooden bracing behind the sheet to get it even with that wall. This is going to prevent the need for excess joint compound. When screwing the drywall into the wall, make sure to dimple the screws. That just means putting the head just below the surface. The joint compound will cover the dimple, but if it sticks out, you'll have a bump in your wall from the screw head. Okay, now take the paper or mesh tape and cover the seams. There are plenty of reasons for using paper tape. I use the mesh for its ease of use. Just make sure to go slightly past your seams so the tape is solidly stuck to your wall. Then I did 3 passes with Westpak pre-mixed joint compound. The first pass was to fully cover all of the seams and dimpled screws. I let that dry for 24 hours, then put on another coat that started to feather out the seam. Handy info. Feathering, which you'll see on the back instructions of the joint compound, is just taking your putty knife on the outside edge and pushing it into the wall as you apply the compound up and down the seams. Now, what this will do is create a little ridge of excess compound in the center that's easy to scrape off, but the rest of it will be smooth. After the second layer is dry, sand it down with medium grit sandpaper. I used 150. After that, you're gonna wipe it down with a damp cloth to get rid of any excess dust. Then apply one final layer of compound to fill any small holes or gaps. Let that dry, sand, wipe it down, and then you're ready to paint. Okay, that is how you fill a large hole in your drywall. The largest time commitment for this is letting the joint compound dry in between applications. Other than that, it shouldn't take you more than a couple of hours, and this is such a rewarding job. I hope you found this video helpful. If you did, please like and subscribe.